Okay, this is a follow-up to my video about why there is a STEM worker shortage in the United States. Now, this video is about some of the solutions. And a lot of it is not really for the government to handle because this is really just private industry and it is not a national crisis or something like that. But in terms of California, there is a massive amount of technology jobs in California, particularly in that Silicon Valley. A huge need for the same type of worker. Now, it's not natural to have that many people all in one place. So what do companies typically do? You don't make all the cars for the entire United States in one factory. You don't bake all the bread in one bakery. The fact is, there's a massive amount of technology in one place. So, with the high cost of living in Silicon Valley and the undesirable aspect, nobody wants to relocate there from the rest of the country. Statistically, you'll see there's very few people wanting to move into California. The immigration has made it so price prohibitive. So, the companies that are in that area, normally you could locate to a different part of the state. But really, the entire state of California is undesirable. So the reality is, if you own a company and you're having a hard time attracting workers to your area, you're just going to have to accept the fact that your location is maxed out. The cost of the homes, the state of the schools, people are not willing to give up living in a nicer part of the country. And I don't mean weather. Everybody knows Californians get great weather. You need to go to Texas. You need to go to Kansas. You need to go to Minnesota. The fact is, the people, the venture capitalists, you're going to have to expand your horizons. Everybody always talks about it's a global nation, global economy. They don't even want to leave the state. I think it's time. You want to get more resources, you need to do that. That's one option. Number two is if you don't want to move, you don't want to change your company, you need to pay an amount that attracts people to come to your company. If it's literally $1 million for a 1,600 square foot house in Santa Clara, then you have to pay more than $120,000. That's not going to enable somebody to buy a nice house. So you got to pay more. Now, in terms of the rest of the country, if you do not have your supply of foreign workers by just calling a global sourcing company and doing it the lazy, easy, cheap way, and exploiting some new novice worker that is from another country, then you do what the industry did all through the years. You hire a recruiter and you bring somebody in that's already experienced from somewhere else in the United States. That is how you fill these jobs. Now, I get that that's not immediate. If you're in California and need a programmer right now, well, you got to start thinking though. Maybe you need to do work at home options for people that are on the other side of the country. Work at home technology is easy now compared to the past. You have to go beyond the limitations of the West Coast location. So that is the primary thing, and you have to start recruiting and you have to start looking for workers. And your problem will be solved in terms of finding somebody. Now, the long term, you do what we always did in the 90s. You're in a certain area, you have a certain need, you go to the colleges, you have boot camp programs where you bring people right out of college into your company and you give them crash course training. You encourage the local colleges to teach the subject where you have the shortage. Colleges, a lot of times, they're really not with the times. They're teaching something that maybe brings them money. They're in the business to make money, not necessarily do what's going to make you the most marketable. Now, they won't say that to you, but the perfect example is how many colleges teach kids gaming. But I can tell you right now, in the real world, I'm an IT worker, in the real world, not that many people are gaming. So the fact here is, it's long term, but you bring the local people into the fold, you bring the colleges, and you will solve the problem without bringing in cheap labor and without hurting the people that are already here. That is the solution.